ladies and gentlemen. Today I want to talk to you about something that's often misunderstood in our society, the power of being happy alone. We live in a world that frequently equates happiness with being surrounded by people, friends, family, or romantic partners. We're told that we need these relationships to feel complete, to feel whole. But I am here to tell you something different today. True happiness begins within. And sometimes the greatest joy comes from learning how to be happy with just your own company. You see, when we're alone, we are given the rare opportunity to connect with our true selves. It's in these moments of solitude that we discover who we really are, our values, our dreams, and our heart's deepest desires. The world is full of distractions, but when we take time to be still, we hear the voice inside that has always been waiting for us to listen. And when you begin to listen to that voice, something incredible happens. You start to know yourself on a level that's deeper than you ever imagined. But let's be real for a moment. Solitude isn't always comfortable, is it? Especially if we've been used to filling our lives with noise, with people, with distractions. But I promise you, it's in those quiet, sometimes awkward moments of being alone that you will find healing. So many of us have experienced pain, disappointment, or heartbreak, and sometimes we think that we need someone else to heal us. But the truth is, healing often starts when we sit with ourselves, give ourselves grace, and allow time to work its magic. You are stronger than you think. And when you are alone, you can heal in ways you never thought possible. Let me share with you another truth. Independence isn't something to be feared. It's something to be celebrated. Being alone doesn't mean being weak. It means that you are capable of standing firm on your own 2 feet. You are strong enough to handle life's challenges without depending on anyone else. So I challenge you, become someone who doesn't need someone else to feel whole. Learn to stand on your own and watch how your confidence and resilience will grow. But here's the thing, when you become comfortable with being alone, you will learn to enjoy your own company. You'll realize that you don't need to be constantly surrounded by others to feel validated. You are enough just as you are. And this is where the magic happens. When you enjoy your own presence, when you learn to be your own best friend, your life shifts. You start seeing yourself as worthy of love, joy, and success without needing anyone else to give it to you. Which brings me to this self-love. The foundation of true happiness is built on self-love. When you truly love yourself, you don't seek love from others to fill a void. You know that you are already complete, already whole, already enough. You are your own greatest treasure. And when you start seeing yourself this way, everything in your life changes. Your relationships, your career, your mindset all begin to shift in alignment with the love you've poured into yourself. And don't forget the power of reflection. Solitude offers you the chance to step back, take a breath, and reflect on your life's direction. In the stillness, you'll find clarity. You'll find the answers you've been seeking. You'll reconnect with your purpose, your mission, and the dreams that have been waiting for you to claim them. Take that time to reflect. It's in the quiet moments that you will hear the whispers of your soul telling you what you are truly capable of. And finally, I want to leave you with this. Learning to be happy alone doesn't mean you have to live a life of isolation. It means living a life of purpose. It means living with passion that doesn't depend on anyone else's approval. It means knowing that you are the one who holds the keys to your happiness, and you have the power to unlock a future full of possibilities, all on your own terms. So I encourage you, take time to learn how to be happy alone. Because when you do, you will realize that being alone is not about loneliness. It is about freedom. Freedom to be yourself. Freedom to heal. Freedom to grow. And most importantly, freedom to live the life you were always meant to live. There's something incredibly powerful about solitude, something we don't often acknowledge in a world that constantly pushes us towards socializing, connecting, and never being alone. We are taught to seek the comfort of others, to avoid being by ourselves, as if being alone is synonymous with being lonely. But the truth is, there is an untapped power in solitude that, when understood, can transform your life in ways you never imagined. Think about it for a moment. The world around us is full of noise, constant chatter, the hum of our devices, the pressure to keep up with everyone else's life. But in the stillness, when the world falls away, we are given the space to hear our own thoughts, to process our own emotions, and to reconnect with what really matters to us. Solitude isn't just a break from others, it's an opportunity to step into the fullest expression of who we are. It's in the quiet moments that we truly hear our inner voice, the one that has been drowned out by the busyness of our lives. When we spend time alone, we create the space to reconnect with ourselves on a deeper level. We stop being distracted by other people's opinions, their expectations, and we become attuned to our own needs, desires, and truths. Solitude gives us the chance to slow down and listen to the dreams we've buried, the fears we've ignored, and the passions we've suppressed. It's in these quiet moments that we can tap into our true selves, free from external pressures. There is also healing power in being alone. Sometimes we go through experiences that leave scars, heartbreak, failure, loss. We think that we need others to help us heal, to lift us up, to offer words of comfort. But the truth is, there are wounds only solitude can mend. Alone, we can sit with our pain without fear of judgment, without the need to perform for others. Solitude gives us permission to cry, to grieve, to process in our own way and at our own pace. It's in these moments of stillness that we can rebuild ourselves from the inside out, without the distractions of the world telling us how or when we should heal. When we learn to be at peace with ourselves in solitude, we begin to realize something important. We are enough just as we are. We don't need the validation of others to feel worthy or valuable. In fact, the more we embrace our own company, the more we realize that our happiness does not depend on anyone else. There is a deep sense of freedom that comes from understanding this truth, that we can be whole without needing to be surrounded by people. In solitude, we find our own voice, and we realize that we are capable of giving ourselves the love, attention, and care that we often look for outside ourselves. Solitude teaches us to be self-sufficient, not in a way that isolates us from others, but in a way that empowers us. It's about standing on our own 2 feet and knowing that we have everything we need within ourselves to create the life we want. When we are alone, we are not missing anything. In fact, self-awareness is the key to unlocking the door to a life that is truly your own. It is the foundation upon which all personal growth is built, yet it is something that so many of us overlook. We spend so much time trying to understand others, trying to please others, trying to figure out what the world expects from us, that we forget to take the time to truly know ourselves. But the reality is, we cannot live an authentic, fulfilled life until we know who we really are. Self-awareness is more than just recognizing our likes and dislikes. It's about understanding the depths of our hearts and minds. It's about taking the time to reflect on our past experiences, our fears, our strengths, and our weaknesses. It's about asking the difficult questions like, what do I really want from life, and what do I truly value? It's not just about surface level understanding. It's about getting to the core of who we are, peeling back the layers that have been built over the years, and getting real with ourselves. When we take the time to become aware of our inner selves, we open up the possibility for growth. We start to see patterns in our behaviors, our thoughts, and our reactions. We begin to understand why we make the choices we do, why certain situations trigger us, and why we feel stuck or unfulfilled. Self-awareness is a mirror. It reflects back to us the truth of who we are. And it's only when we confront that truth that we can begin to change, to evolve, and to grow into the person we are meant to be. But self-awareness isn't always easy. It requires honesty, vulnerability, and a willingness to face parts of ourselves that may be uncomfortable or even painful. It requires us to take an honest inventory of our lives, to assess the areas where we may have been hiding from the truth, or where we may have been living in a way that doesn't align with our true values. It's about acknowledging our mistakes, accepting our imperfections, and being kind enough to ourselves to learn from them. Only then can we move forward in a way that is true to who we are. As we become more self-aware, we begin to realize that our happiness is not dependent on external circumstances, but on our relationship with ourselves. We no longer look for validation or approval from others because we know that our worth is not determined by what others think of us. We become more attuned to our own needs and desires, and we start to make choices that align with our true selves, not the expectations or opinions of others. We begin to honor ourselves, to give ourselves permission to be who we are unapologetically. Self-awareness also brings clarity. The more we understand ourselves, the more we can make decisions that align with our purpose and values. We stop wandering aimlessly through life, unsure of what we want or where we're going. Instead, we move forward with intention, knowing exactly what we want to achieve, what we stand for, and what matters most to us. When we have a clear sense of who we are, we no longer. There is a quiet strength that comes from embracing independence, one that is often overlooked in a world that constantly emphasizes connection and reliance on others. We are taught from a young age that we need people, that our worth is often measured by the relationships we have, and that we cannot achieve greatness without others by our side. But true independence isn't about isolation. It's about the powerful realization that we are fully capable of standing on our own, of being our own source of strength, and of charting our own course in life. Independence is not something to fear. It is a gift, a power that lies within each of us. It's the ability to stand tall, knowing that you don't need to depend on anyone else to define who you are or dictate the direction of your life. It is knowing that no matter what happens, you can count on yourself. In moments of doubt, when the world feels overwhelming and the road ahead seems uncertain, independence is the steady anchor that keeps you grounded. It's the voice inside that reminds you that you have everything within you to navigate the storms of life, to rise above challenges, and to pursue your dreams, no matter how big they may seem. When you embrace independence, you become free. You begin to trust in your own abilities, your own wisdom, your own resilience. You realize that you are more than capable of handling whatever life throws your way. It's in those moments when you are alone, when the noise of the world falls silent, that you discover the depths of your own strength. Independence teaches you to trust yourself, to make decisions with confidence, to act from a place of self-assurance rather than seeking approval or permission from others. Independence doesn't mean you don't value relationships or connections. It means you are no longer dependent on them to feel complete. You begin to understand that your happiness is not tied to another person's approval, and that your sense of worth is not based on how others perceive you. True independence is about discovering and claiming your own worth. It's about understanding that you are already whole and that you don't need anyone else to make you feel worthy or significant. You learn to fill your own cup, to love yourself fully, and to walk your own path, knowing that you are enough exactly as you are. With independence comes freedom, the freedom to make your own choices, to design your own life, and to live according to your own terms. When you are not bound by the expectations or limitations of others, you begin to see just how vast and limitless the possibilities are. You discover that the power to create the life you want, to chase your dreams, and to live authentically lies within you. Independence frees you from the weight of trying to meet others' expectations, allowing you to follow your own heart and pursue what truly matters to you. Embracing independence also means taking full responsibility for your life. No longer can you blame circumstances or others for where you are or what you've become. You are the author of your own story, and the pen is in your hands. You take ownership of your choices, your successes, and even your failures, knowing that each step is a lesson in growth. When you own your independence, you understand that you hold the power to shape your own future. You are the creator, the dreamer, and the doer all in one. In the end, the beauty of independence is not just in the freedom it gives you, but in the confidence it instills in you. You begin to walk through life with a quiet assurance, knowing that no matter what comes your way, you are strong enough to face it. Independence teaches you that you are more than capable of thriving on your own, and that you are the one who holds the key to your happiness, your success, and your destiny. And when you discover this truth, you realize that independence is not something to be feared. It is the most empowering and beautiful gift you can give to yourself. There is something profoundly beautiful and liberating about learning to embrace your own company. In a world that often pushes us to seek validation from others, to constantly be in the presence of people, or to fill every moment with noise and distraction, the ability to be content with yourself is a quiet rebellion. It is an act of self-love, of self-respect, and above all, of profound freedom. We've been conditioned to believe that happiness comes from being surrounded by others, but in reality, true joy and peace begin the moment we learn to enjoy the person we are when no one else is around. Imagine for a moment being fully present in your own company, no distractions, no expectations, no one to impress, just you with your thoughts, your feelings, and your soul. It's in these moments of solitude that you begin to realize that you don't need anyone else to complete you, to validate your worth, or to make you feel important. You are already whole, already enough, just as you are. When you embrace your own company, you stop seeking external sources of approval and begin to recognize the power and beauty within yourself. You become your own best friend, your own greatest cheerleader, and your own source of comfort and peace. Learning to enjoy your own company requires a shift in mindset. It's about letting go of the fear of being alone, the fear of facing your own thoughts and emotions. We often run from ourselves, hiding behind distractions or other people because we are afraid of what we might find when we look inward. But in truth, when we take the time to sit with ourselves, we uncover the most profound aspects of our being. We begin to understand who we are at our core, our dreams, our desires, our fears, and we become empowered by that knowledge. We realize that we are capable of creating the life we want, of building the relationships we deserve, and of becoming the person we've always wanted to be. All of that begins when we embrace the time we spend alone. When you embrace your own company, you begin to see the world in a different light. You no longer feel the pressure to constantly be entertained, to fill every moment with activity, or to seek out constant interaction. Instead, you start to enjoy the quiet moments, the peaceful times where you can reflect, create, and simply be. You start to appreciate the value of stillness, the beauty of solitude, and the power of being present with yourself. You begin to realize that life is not about filling every moment with noise or movement. It's about finding peace in the quiet, joy in the small moments, and fulfillment in your own presence. There is also a deep sense of freedom that comes with embracing your own company. When you are no longer dependent on others for your happiness or sense of worth, you become liberated. You can go to a movie alone, take a trip by yourself, or spend an afternoon reading a book without feeling lonely or isolated. Instead of relying on others to fill your emotional cup, you learn how to fill it yourself. You discover the joy of being fully present in your own life, of creating your own experiences, and of loving yourself unconditionally. It is only when you embrace your own company that you realize how much strength and beauty lie within you. As you learn to enjoy your own company, you begin to attract the kind of relationships that truly serve you. When you are comfortable with who you are, when you no longer seek. Self-love is the bedrock upon which everything else in our lives is built. It is the foundation that supports our happiness, our peace, and our ability to live a life of purpose. Too often, we look outside ourselves for love, validation, and acceptance as though these things are something we must earn or seek from others. But the truth is, true love, unconditional love, must first come from within. You cannot fully receive love from anyone else until you learn to give it to yourself. When we talk about self-love, it's not just about feeling good about yourself in fleeting moments or simply accepting yourself when things are going well. Self-love is a deep-rooted commitment to honor and value yourself in every season of life, in moments of success, yes, but also in moments of failure, when things don't go as planned, when you fall short, or when you make mistakes. Self-love is about recognizing your worth even when you don't feel good enough by the world's standards. It's about understanding that you are valuable, not because of what you do, but because of who you are. Imagine for a moment living your life from a place of complete self-acceptance, where you are no longer seeking the approval of others because you already approve of yourself. Think about the freedom in not needing constant validation and not letting someone else's opinion of you dictate your worth or your actions. When you love yourself, you become your own greatest ally. You stop criticizing yourself for every mistake or shortcoming, and instead you begin to treat yourself with kindness and compassion. You begin to speak to yourself as you would to your dearest friend, with love, understanding, and encouragement. Self-love is also about setting boundaries that honor your well-being. It's about knowing that you deserve respect, peace, and joy, and not settling for anything less. It's not selfish to put yourself first, it's necessary. When you love yourself, you protect your energy, your time, and your heart. You don't allow others to treat you in ways that diminish your worth or compromise your peace. You become the guardian of your own happiness, and by doing so, you create space for the love and respect you deserve to flow freely into your life. But self-love doesn't just come in moments of self-care or affirmation. It comes in the way we show up for ourselves every day, how we take care of our bodies, nurture our minds, and feed our spirits. It's in the habits we cultivate, the choices we make, and the way we talk to ourselves. It's in the small, everyday acts of love we show ourselves, saying no when we need to, giving ourselves grace when we make mistakes, and celebrating our progress no matter how small. When you love yourself, you take responsibility for your own happiness because you know that no one else can do it for you. Self-love is also a radical act of trust. When you love yourself, you trust that you are capable of creating the life you want, of achieving the dreams in your heart, and of navigating the challenges that come your way. You trust that you are deserving of success, that you are worthy of love, and that you have the strength to overcome whatever obstacles life presents. You trust yourself enough to take risks, to step out of your comfort zone, and to believe that you can handle whatever comes your way. It's this deep trust in yourself that gives you the courage to grow, to evolve, and to step into your full potential. And the most beautiful part of self-love is that it is not a destination, it is a journey. It is something we cultivate every single day. It's the practice of showing up for ourselves, of nurturing our minds, our hearts, and our bodies with care. It's about understanding that we are always growing, always learning, and always deserving of our own love, regardless of where we are on our journey. Self-love is about giving ourselves permission to be human, to be imperfect, to make mistakes, and to celebrate ourselves through it all. When self-love becomes the foundation of your life, everything else falls into place. You begin to attract people who respect and value you for who you truly are, not just for what you can give them. You make decisions that align with your highest good. You stop settling for less and start creating the life you've always dreamed of. You realize that your worth was never dependent on anyone else, and that your ability to love and honor yourself will always be the truest reflection of the love you deserve. Self-love is the most powerful force you will ever encounter, because when you love yourself, the world opens up to you in ways you never thought possible. It is the foundation from which you will build everything you've ever wanted and more. There is a unique kind of healing and growth that can only be found in solitude. In a world that constantly pulls us in every direction, urging us to connect with others, to keep moving, to be productive, there is something deeply transformative about taking a step back and being alone with ourselves. In solitude, we find the space to listen to our hearts, to process our emotions, and to reflect on the experiences that have shaped us. It's in those quiet moments away from the noise and distractions of daily life that we can truly begin to heal, to grow, and to reconnect with who we really are. When we are constantly surrounded by others, it's easy to lose touch with ourselves. We get caught up in the demands of life, the expectations of others, and the need to perform or prove our worth. But when we allow ourselves the gift of solitude, we free ourselves from these external pressures. We are no longer trying to live up to someone else's idea of who we should be. Instead, we can focus on our own needs, desires, and emotions. We can give ourselves permission to pause, to reflect, and to process. In solitude, we create the space for our true selves to emerge, free from the judgment and influence of others. Solitude also gives us the opportunity to heal in ways that may not be possible when we are constantly surrounded by others. Sometimes we carry wounds from our past heartbreak, loss, failure that we have never fully addressed. We may bury them, pushing them to the back of our minds, but they remain quietly affecting the way we show up in the world.